election. So far, it has started very well, peacefully, and we are very hopeful that everything is going to end peacefully today.
All right. In just a moment, I'll come back to you because I understand that with the exception of English, you have a very good command of the Mandinka language, so you will equally recap some of the salient points that we will be discussing. mbokk yi ñoo seetaan ñu ngi am mbégte rek dalalaat leen fi nga xam ne nag mooy fii si GRTS ñu am mbégte ndax boo leen fàttale ko rek mu ngi mel ni rek presidential election bu nekk bu bés bi demee ba jot rek GRTS dinañu am programme bu mel ni jagleel ko ñi nga xam ne ñooy askan bi programme bi li ko tax a jógloo rek mooy pour dal di xamal askan bi mbiri sànni carte bi nu moo demee ci biir réew loolu tax na nag GRTS yebal nañu seeni ay ndaw ci biir réew mi yëpp ci kanam tuuti ci biir programme bi dinañ leen oo ci téléphone ñu waxtaan ak ki ñoom dinañ ñu wax naka la sànni carte bi di demee moo xam si ñoom tunda bu ñu nekk mbaa ca polling station bi nga xam ne moom la ñu nekk mu doon tamit loo xamante ne nag dara du leen ci umpa du ñàkk nag ñi nga xam ne ñooy taskati xibaar yu gën a jege Banjul ak li ko wër bu ñu waxtu mayee dinañ leen dalal ñoom i tamit waaye fii balaa loolu rek dañuy xaarandi ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy suñu naataango yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci lii di ci bérébi sànnikaay ay carte yi kon nag tey mbir bi noonu la moo nekkee dinañ fi nekk nag ba ñaari waxtu bu ñaari waxtu weesoo nag dina am suñu yeneen naataango yoo xam ne ñoom dinañu ñëw awuñu dal di jekkali li nga xam ne moom mooy liggéey bi waaye dina baax tamit ñu xamal mbokk yi ne bu ngoonee incha allah ñi nga xam ne nag ñoom ñooy suñ analysis yi ne dinañu ñëwaat fii ci biir studio bi ndax boobu jamono yaakaar nañ ne li nga xam ne moom mooy results yi dina commencé ñëw dafa nekk rek ne bëgguma feeñal lu bari waaye fi mu nekk GRTS pare nañ jumtuwaay yëpp ñu ngi fii léegi kañ lu ñoo xaar rek mooy ñi sànni karta ñu dal di dugg ci li nga xam ne moom mooy compte gi boo leen pare ñun pare nañ incha allah dinañ leen gunge ba waxtu bi nga xam ne dinañu announce kii nga xam ne moom mooy the next president Khadija.
Yes, Tija, na Baraka Bake, and of course, as you rightly mentioned, this is GRTS. Our roles and responsibilities are to stand firm, to discuss the concerns of the nations and give them a voice to always decide the best. Nyaming dorong badingolo Tija ni afande nyaming coming al election program olom coming nyumun tolokuleti intol mu GRTS do ko laleti ko mi yalon ko nabe baluka ngabe kering ni wole ka wule ka pul nyen kacha isaje ka mulla nyantolu dilano ka mulla kuma kan wonta ka fintindi jamal kan isaje asake kuti mimbe kala na fadroneti dilen jaji fon ñep depuis carton be koyna sen election program la manak Tijan ñolen fi togal bitu Tijan coming ya funya min dorong Babukar Sambu of course I tell him the president of peace ambassadors the Gambia woto abe kuma ya la bake aya fomoli ni ko peace ambassadors the Gambia ñul mu jumaleti mono mi la dogoti.
Okay, Abaraka Bake, Peace Ambassadors of the Gambia. Okay. Peace Ambassadors of the Gambia, funding ki kafole ming lota nyimbanko kan kabring year 2001. Bi ay sanji mwan soto, kafonyi na loni sign tema. Kafonyi belola wato men na lota dalilo men kama wala mnyinti dunia sulata kairo la wato be. Andu manyana sila foni mantoro be kering wato men nga wuli nkonga kairo sabatindi. 1999 United Nations la bengodo bije ye kabo 2000 kata 2010 ya ke decade of peace ladi comme sanji tango me alon ko Cairo do na sabatila so yin encourage ko kafol finance role so peace ambassadors nata ko ala idea ni nat na watola Gambia funding ke dol na si inata kafoni lo ala lo folon ka kuma no youth ambassadors of peace lala bare bring na sanji tanke nata realize ko the word youth ay funding kel akamna ko kafoni na ko danta funding kel damala bare Cairo obunda janyantala manya dana funding kel drona so wala atina na ndi mena mainly wala kamul karandi ka fahamro ke munam Cairo na faamune na so tamba sabatin dano nyaadi le fana ba nata damen do fanan mbe muna keno la pour Cairo sabatin no je training national executive sort la secretariat sort ba nga regional branches wal fanan be sort all the regions nga peace ambassadors branches sort but not nata international kabo year 2010 kana sign kan be international level sign because nga successfully nga peace ambassadors in Senegal and also peace ambassadors in Guinea-Bissau. Ibe operate kang komin jangka operate nyame. So kuku be ke gam banko kang mealon ko Cairo la ko le wala Cairo la sabat la wala Cairo tano fanan. Peace ambassadors ka interest to nyingu halela. Wala atina nada dun election of fanan kono because na korosirol to na karangol to peace Cairo to na kul jibel mealon ko e government la enablers of conflict. Election of number wala kono silo la fana akaka Cairo sabatindira mo fana ndle bawo mo jamal ka palaso ni nyola ata kela nyindi ko nunto akenu nyame when we used to live in the period of kela pour jumalo gagner ba carte fa wala kake so nadna start ka election observation fana nge kabo year 2006 kana fombe nyina mendo election kira Gambia jang peace ambassadors ka observation ka monitor comme ka korosiro ka kaje ko fo pool sartul be tama kan nyamale election on tamal ning sartul menna ni wol mandara ke gam fanan ka korosiro ke ngayamarol di IEC la masakunda bundal min yalan ko stake soto comme gam stakeholder election la maranya nyindo ko report hol di so kabrin 2006 ka election be observe bare nyinang na election observation bunda nyin fanuta domanding because previously ka election day damale observe wala m carte faylu bare nada bunda nyim fanondi because ngaji ko carte fayola tilingona la tilimbalia jama obaga determine election day la activity men ka janning election day carte fayola tinya bete ka determine no watola so nadna long term election na kumas nim political party la congress wala la bribe congress ke gang observe na voter registration period fanan be observable and na finding soul nga press brief occasionally
ni kibar janjanal ka kacha kay tandi la nga men korosi ko bita kan nyaade la ni mino bita kan ku wan men mata kan ku presidential nomination fanan sita wato menna nga fanan nga namol ki jele fanan be koros fa banda yo nadna dun sa be stagement wala carte fayo wato fon ko observe sign time ñing bitang na mol membe filo ko no mo keme nani mo taworo 460 observers nga wole janjandi Gambia karo bela ka carte fayo ñing observe korosini yo wol kono mo keme mo tan woro wolbe tarrat yaay kanne comme constituency kono tundi fanan regional nga mo clean sore worawla wol fanan wollem coordinator de wol fanan be tara yaay kanne kadulal korosi kaje barna nada mo keme sabasoto wolbe sila bla kiline polling station wolto katara korosi rola kabring somanda kul kuma stawato menna fo janni wato menna be soronna fo kontilol be kala fay bank bare kontri bundal fanan be kala dam bawo spot counting dem fayda dam daga konti woldo barna pare de ka coalition wol ke ka kafunyo madam do constituency level dawda be mosor laje mo taw luluni woro mo taw luluni saba constituency wolbe tarajele ka coalition on korosi bare regional level fanan mo woro la regional coalition centers e ka kafunyo madam regional karola mo be taraje pandol dawda ani IEC headquarters fondo kibarol be kala bandame do na mol bi jele men be korosirola so bi talan killing be kibar dilal kumandila mbe kibaro dilela somandala karola ko karre bundal yelola wato ani environmental in Kenyal pool tara nyaadile mbo briefing dila wularo fanam be briefing dila kaytan digo carte fa ñing pool mi beta ñim dalilo mi atnan ka carte fa koros wala ñinti aka mo la lanno fanam warandi carte fa wala ni ñu lonko IC mantre fa da mabul men be carte fa ko to do kan ifana mantre fa da mabul mo le fanam betol fanam koros kan fa be ko samba kan ni silo fa mon aka tinna leke observers wala banku dingol men be carte fa observe kan Gambia jam fanan domestic observer jamal jang Gambia participate ba ke kan bunda dol fanan ba ke kan CSO coalition fanan ba ke kan but peace ambassadors ni national youth parliament ni activista wala be joined together ibe ila coalition but international level fanan international observer ni nang election ngamira ala kumayale fanan yo sabu international observer jamal le fanan be Gambia jambi UN bol kono le AU be kono ECOWAS be kono European Union EU will be observers will be jana aning individual international organizational group bol menyale ye mol kinan kana ifana na election me kuntu fambar nga ñilon ne ko international observer kono fan minul buko Olusegun Obasanjo mi yalon ka nene ketan nung Nigeria president oti nyin tembola be banko kan janne afanan ka futa international observer le kan ani president nol mi yalon ko nene la banko mara ngamere Ghana fan Ghana be wol ko Sierra Leone la former president
Nigeria la fula be
lan na ya warandila na carte fayo tamandir nyatole ngamira womu kulati min akumaya tabakel be ngalon ne ko imman wati soto because in inyanta tala pun nyin kamala in kibar e janjanali kacha but ni ataran program director mang any kola soto follow na reportal to be la fulal donga dunni angale kangola yo domandim fana bros nyeje butun ning tumo nga reporter soto dro inshallah mba dundila a program on yin kono. Well, for the benefit of our English viewers, Mr. Abubakar Sambu, President of the Peace Ambassador, once again, it's a great pleasure to have you in our midst. First of all, can you bring us to speed as to when we talk about Peace Ambassadors, just in a nutshell, what is Peace Ambassadors all about? And of course, your role in our election cycle.
All right. Thank you very much. Just as I was saying, Peace Ambassadors the Gambia is a peace education and advocacy organization that was created in the Gambia on the 17th of May, year 2001. The idea came as a result of United Nations resolution in 1999 that from year 2000 to year 2010 should be considered as a decade of peace, where we should promote the creation of peace advocacy organizations that will build the concept of peace in the mind of people. And that is where some young people of the Gambia came together to build an association initially called Youth Ambassadors of Peace. It was in 2010 that we embarked on an organizational development and changed the name to Peace Ambassadors of the Gambia so that it will be all inclusive, because so that all age brackets will now be included in the whole work. So what we have been doing since inception was basically so many means the country, and we have our structures in all the administrative regions in the Gambia. But we also work on internationalizing the organization. And right now, as we speak, we are an international organization. We realize that we went to war as a result of unfair elections or elections that are perceived to be on election observation. So we started observing elections in the Gambia in year 2006. And since then, we have done an all other electoral long-term election observation. So we started that observation from the political party congress and in terms of their procedures and the way they come. So we reported that. We think that will help them improve their standard. And then we went into immediate nomination up to the date that IEC finally declared the final 6 that are qualified. But in our updates, we commended the parties that were and candidates that were disqualified, the method that they used, understanding how Gambians cherish peace. They desired to use the law instead of using violent means of addressing their grievances, and 460 observers in the field. And these 460 observers in the field are all there sending us reports as how the election day today is going on. 160 of those 460 are actually mobile in the constituencies and in the region. 6 of them are regional coordinators moving around, whilst 53 of them are also going around, and they will be at the coalition centers at the constituency level and also at the district level. But we have 300 of the observers who are stationed at polling stations that they will observe from the beginning all to the end of the votes, and they will observe all the closing and counting and send us their findings. So as we speak, our people are compiling the report at our situation room, and everything happening around. So by morning phase of it has gone. And so far, it's important to announce that everything is going on very smoothly. We have not received any critical incident report yet, because we have given our observers a checklist to observe certain specific things and send us report. But we have also given them a critical incident form. In case things happen that are not in line with election good conduct, they will report those things. And so far, we have not received any special critical incident that happened in any station yet. Thank you.
Yes, Tijan Jani, I think we just need to commend Peace Ambassadors the Gambia for the job well done there, a peaceful electoral process. So I definitely want to congratulate Peace Ambassadors the Gambia for the job well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. And perhaps you'll have one or two words for your viewers before you leave.
Yeah, that will be, Peace Ambassador is not just an election observation group, but a main pillar of establishing the organization is peace building. And therefore, knowing the Gambia, how peaceful it is and how we want to cherish this peace, I want to put this to all the candidates. I want to make sure they cause no problem. We observe everything peacefully, and when the results are also out, let us all respect the results when they come out. Where we may have grievance in terms of the credibility of the result or whatever, let us not use any violence to address it. We have our courts to address anything or to challenge anything that we think we are not happy with. And whereas winners are also declared, it is your right to attack others. And when you lose also, whilst others are celebrating, please let us stay away and let them be without causing any problem. Because sometimes people can be celebrating. Others who lost become angry and also try to provoke so that they affect their celebration. So we are calling on all Gambians. When that is declared, it is a Gambian and it's going to be and tranquility that is in the Gambia that make us being referred to as the smiling coast is always maintained. Our message is 7% according to the IC report, 57% for women also. So women and young people are actually the deciders for this election, and I want to comment that. And I was in the field in the morning, and I voted, and I've seen the large presence of young people in the polling station. So I want to comment that. That thing that motivate them to come out and register, and that motivate them to come out and vote, is the same thing that should motivate them to remain calm and ensure the peace and stability of this country is not compromised.
What a powerful message. Thank you very much, Abubakar Sambu is the president of the Peace Ambassadors. Khadijatu ngamira sanyim bitalal ngam fonyondi domanding nganda kibar talal
ba ke fo ngamira fonyondi mo kono message pum mari mo kono bijele mi yalon ko coming GRTS la fulum nyelti kabiring carte fayo be sutiala finti tanum bantol dole kamolu kachandi mu kuma yale Cairo sabatindoti mul nanta mala nyaadile carte fayo no wani nin carte fayo tambita inanta mala nyaamile kuma jamal fo miliyalon ko kuma balle miliyalon ka bebe kafula min kam doron wala mo Cairo sabatindoti woto ngamira MCR in Kolu woto ngamira we can go with that
ne ajube te fay bawo nyimmu ila nyantolati ya carte fay kati ni man carte fay isembo e ko wala dimo kotenna ikamo e ko wala dimo kotenna ay wota man woto nkana si dro nga fo last minute Gambia non lafta last minute la bakel ataya bandal be jonki la kontongol be batula ni wol yesi fo ay si bina soro nay kol bita do kare mo be adiate dro ake par bi kilingo dro banko fanan ko sula tete banko
sali wato nga bantul jele molu be sawat bi mbake kam molu moy be jele kay bako lan kata jamme wala to lim pare to salo la drom be tenten kan ne kata batrola so e kaje lo ko kabring 8 o'clock aya tar wol so ay la cartel fay so ngamira be wol mol fanan tentula bake hani bi mol bina kanne andu mol fanan be continuer le kana bari ko mi nga ko nyami dron min na video so ton sita ngamin ke bantodo
Maintain peace mooy ku nekk daal muy demee noonu waaye si biir kër gi suñ taajee añ ñëppaay añ su élection jotee ku nekk saani carte dañ kafuree def lu nekk awalante waaye suy si passé kenn xeexu si kenn xuloowu si kenn noonoowu si léegi loolu lañ war a continuer nag waaye élection yi maa gis si biir dëkk bi war a bàyyi ñun ñëpp ñu jàppante gis nga comme ñun suñ koñ bi ku nekk ti boppa am nga gis nga comme ni ma solee suma mbuba mi nii ku nekk sa xol bi xam nga lan moo fa nekk beneen couleur te couleur yi ku ko gis xam ne couleur yoo xam ne la ku nekk sa pati mu fa waaye nag dama bëgg ñu jël suñu xol yi papa ko def ko benn te xam ne élection dafa jeex te dëkk du jeex mbokk du jeex abadan la.
élection warta tax doomu adama yi di jotee élection dafa war a mën a boole nit yi mais warta jël ndax ñun lu ñuy ñaan mooy élection bi paas si jàmm ñëpp nekkaat si jàmm ki yàlla wax ne moom moo mën a amee Gambia yàlla na yàlla ki gën si Gambia rek yàlla na ko yàlla jox toog bi ñun loolu la ñuy ñaan amuñu faral kii bala kële yëpp benn la ñu ngi ñaan jàmm si réew bi dafa mel ni comme ma support Manchester yow nga support Barcelona su fekkee ne sa team moo win dama la war a support mais waruma andi problème suñu diggante bon élection bi dafa war a pass si jàmm Gambien sëpp xam ne lii mbiru président bu toog doomi Gambia ñoo la fi teg bon warta tax man ma joteeg yow élection dafa war a mën a boole nit ñi ñu nekk si jàmm mu pass si jàmm ñu nekk si leneen.
musol pour ye daɗum ka kayro sabatindi carte fayo wato la campagne wato la an carte fay kola kula me yalon ka kumaya bake bawo ne yaje nin kayro tano nata musol ni dingol wolle ka bata bake bawo muso bukata no aya dingol fili koma nin konko nata muso na dingole ka a feel bake because muso te domoro kenola aya dingo tuje oton kumembe wo nyama muso ka dadun kayro sabatin doto ka diamu dimba yali ya jeko ye kayro sabatin election wato la wo mo kuleti men kuma ya ta baba bake
rew dal election lolu war réfléchir rew juróomi at bu nekk dañ war a tànn njiit amin waaye jàmm ak salaam ak dal nekku ne dañ nekk war a nekk noonu ku ñi président yëpp pour defar réew la ku ko ut yëpp pour defar réew la léegi réew mi ni ko defar moom ñu ñëpp ñoo bokk day bokk baay ñoo bokk day bokk baay nañ def ndànka ñu génne sànni karta nañ génne sànni karta ba pare bu ñu amul ngiyo amul ŋaayoo nañ def ndànka jàmm rek moo fi war a am jàmm rek moo fi war a am fitna waru fee am ñu ñëpp ñoo bokk day ñoo bokk baay ñun depuis ñoom JC Faye PS Ndiaye ba Jaxumpa Olfin es Madis ñu ñëpp fekkee nañ loolu waaye jàmm rek moo fi nekkoon loolu moo war a continuer jàmm ak dal moo war a continuer ci réew mi fii.
lii nag moom every 5 years la boo xam ne moom la ñoo dajoo foog naa ne war nañ see nekk si loo xam ne jaama la ak salaam ñaan nag di si dugga si jaama ak génn si salaam ñaan nañ ko soo amee sa njaboot tëj ko sa biir kër suñ ne diw gañe na nga jàppa sa njaboot bu kenn génn si tali bi di wiiw soo wiiwee sax ewal sa bunti kër moo gën ñu génn ku nekk ñu tasaaroo si biir dëkk bi foofu loolu mooy indi xeex te ñaan yoo ñaan xeex xuloo bum si am jaama ji ñu xamee si outside wall bi moom la ñoo ñaan ñu bugg ñu maintain ko ku nekk nga def sa jaama saani ji ñëw toog sa kër te ñu ñaan jaama ku nekk nag ku sa morom nag pateem win yow su saay dëkkandoor mun ngaa dem nga ndookale ko soo ko munta ndookale nga em sa biir kër su subaa ngeen génn a tase waat si mbedda mi kafree
Hello, Tijan. It seems we have live call.
Right now, down to
Well, except program director will tell us.
Oh, Gambia, what we have now, we have peace, love, and unity. Oh, Gambian leaders of peace, love, and unity.
Well, thank you and welcome if you're just joining us. This is Election Day Update here on GRTS Live. Kadijatu Konga Funyamin, the reporter in the line of
Okay.
Yeah.
Mbaringolu coming Tijani ya fane nyamin dorong kay ko alla election program olam mi yalon ko GRTS ka kere ali alam ne ko GRTS ko be kere banko kan mi wole ka wuli bari ngamira nga most to line otole mi yalon ko amu Seydou Kamarati auto hello Seydou.
Hello Kadija.
Yes, can you kindly tell us where you are exactly?
Right now I'm in Buffalo at the youth center where it is, we are having the two police stations. People electors are already in the queue trying to cast their vote.
Seydou, what's the voter turnout across the polling stations?
Yeah, actually it's very impressive because the turnout is very good. It's a massive turnout. We are seeing, particularly on the side of the young people, we are seeing a lot of young people who turn out to cast their vote, and even the elderly people. So, in a nutshell, I can confirm to you that the turnout is very encouraging, and it is a huge one for that matter.
Seydou, can you kindly tell us if you have been seeing any differently able persons at the station, and if yes, are they given privilege to cast their vote?
So far, the polling station that I visited, I only happened to see one who is on a wheelchair, but unfortunately, the person is not given that kind of special treatment as you are indicated. I happened to found the person on the queue, and then looking at the situation at that particular moment, it is very cloudy, and then the person also was within the queue, to trying to cast her vote, to participate in this voting process. But there was not like a special treatment or a privilege that was accorded to this individual, so that due to so that the person will go and cast his or her vote and then leave it there.
Oh, that's a sad news, though. But again, there are some of the COVID safety protocols.
Yeah, it's not every individual, but some are trying to. I have seen some individuals putting on face masks, but the majority are not putting on those precautionary measures. But within the masses, you will see few putting on face masks to protect themselves from the pandemic.
Can you walk us through the security situation on the ground?
Can you come again, please?
Can you walk us through the security situation on the ground? what is the security like? Now, excuse me. What is the security like at the ground?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. The security also, they are working with these officers who are contracted, like the presiding and the police officer. They are working with them, coordinating the process, because each police station is having about 2 or 3 police officers. And then they are helping to coordinate the process so that it will be in a peaceful and smooth manner. And so far, it has been going well within all the police stations that I visited so far.
Abaraka bake Saidu bari kai ko den nimbe telefono landila bela fila ye adama dim fo mole mandin ka tangoto coming ifana mo mole timi yalon ko imo GRTs do kulaleti andu fanan election ole kono coming nga fo nyaming fenno mi yalon ko GRTs ka wuli kata dulal beto fanal beto ka monitor na quartier fayol beta ka nyaadile na mole mi yalon ko mo banku diwoti ibe nyaadile je be quartier fay ka nyaadi le Cairo nin tenko kono anin coming kenyo faham so mbela fila ya fo mulye ibe mun tole nin tembe
barka barka dia sai ben me baso tundoto wal sai international medium kay sai ben plenty baso youth center baso youth center do police ko flale biya 1 in 2 but so far mo fundita yenta ka fundi nyamen particular funding ken and alpha game mo be fundi dalen if the project fanaita yetara yin ko kono because they are on the go ning aka so every 5 sanyu Gambia non ka fundi le ida pudo to pre nyato ko choose nyalo ko wala nyanta banko marana for the next 5 years so so far mo be fundi dalen mo yalon ko carte babu fundi dalen pour que ni carton fay itel fane da eta ko mo yalon ko e be mo le tombo na mo marna ni banko barna mo ngul bari to yan tundo to ba tundo yan bugon tan no jam fo jimara tanano yenga mama kandela ay carton fay dalen da because bisomanda na tanano ya fo nga ay carton fay sare njebo am jam fa ala ngam sa to won sare birom medin so atana fana ay carton fay an bre fay carton fay adiam the media because media no media no and QTV you know and other media so adiam the media no but ame mo lai di ko like ako ade every day abe jikiri no ko abe katale mo abe ganyela le bari hani ka bi de ka mo li amar le pour mo be tem mo funda ka karto ne karto fay e muru na so kono e si radio la mo en television you know atra mo man ku ke mi ano ko abe modo abe violence natla comme ça mi ano ko abe problem natla so I am only I am only amargola you know but so far so good election no benyamin dan process kla nyame abe kamrine atula abe beten kunine mol fundi dale na nyama pour ka ko telefonam e la carte fay
Seydo wo kola la ngalo ne jama ka futa dawoda en ka mol soto mol kono le milialon ko tumando bato fo alaye la su fo la dolo mutale ando fanan tumando bato ita lola no lo nyala mi yalon ka be mela le wala dol to bi gefan inyalu mariya so wol dolo musu kono mal exactly aha so wol dum ibela pul manan kun kan nyadi le karfe faidula to
so far comme ça la ko ñan angala jolet birin dara dula jamaado bari no yemo dula clinton mu yalla ko farana to be honest iman special treatment yalla comme ça iman privilege yalla iman fa comme ça ila hawa betene pour comme ça les chance bi yalla aita nyaro pour ay carte fay nga yego abela no kono andu fana revanan bi lori ngele pour ya ko carte fay so wodo kala pudi mi yalla ngamela ko anyanda pour mu yanga anyanda ka jibe because comme ça ya fo nyame rek ni mu mo le di mu yalla ko ila sufo man timam so ni di model mu yalla ko ma ke kelende so yin sifa ngamela yanda ko jibe bare so far nga yeda men nga yedula men do otomo ma iman special treatment yalla comme ça imam privilege ala pour yaro ko ate carte so faya do ni lay ko.
Okay, woto Seydou Tijan woto ngamiram bate bulalale kani barala bake ngai ko ila feedback min fojang kabo jimara Tijan coming Seydou ya funya min dorong coming niya jibe nyul mo kuleti min yalon ko hadamadi ya kenyalon ko min yalon ko astambo nan to sone ala bake le surtout tol damal min yalon ko ibe line wala pour ka quartier nyim fay well ntata quartier fay damin tanga different case la jowoto suba ka berin tata ngajele musobi jele mi yalon ko anya la fano man sene abake bari priority di ala le anin fana mul mi yalon ko komi be puspuso ko ne be siring ala yesu pol muta ye wol fana ma ko lanin kebal bayri yaji be jumo hadama di ya kenality keba mi yalon ko komi ngata lola no ko te funding kebe lola nyami tumando bato wonanta kala alfa da mal la kulle ke pour priority di nyola pour wisa sayno awatola so Tijan, back to you.
Kadijatu baraka bake ngalon drong pour mbage suruwal mini alon ko fa programme on no makam pour sa kumo ñi domandim foyje kon nak batay mbokk yi ñu fatti len rek yeen ak ñoo topa fi ci GRTS ci programme bo xamne nak dañ leen ko jaglel comme ni mako waxe ci ubité programme bi am nañu suñu natango yo xamne yebal nañ leen ci rew mi yépp di setu li nga xamne nak nonu lañu nekké di sané carte ki nga xamne nak mom moy Seydou Camara mom lañ waxaloon léegi Seydou mu ngi ci tundi ak passé ci waxtaanam jàppal nañ ci ne dem na gis na béréb bi nga xam ne nag ñooy ci polling station si te lim fa jot a gis mooy nit ñi génn nañ bu baax a baax foofu ci tundi ak passé rawatina nag ñi nga xam ne mooy ndaw ñi ñoom daanaka génn nañ bu baax a baax dem pour sànni li nga xam ne moom mooy carte amut benn
yes ngabri kafule ngabri dosi ko mayo to which is momo
dama amee tuuti rek pour suñ mbokk yi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo toppa ci olof ñoom itam ñu xam lan la Seydou wax parce que loolu yi tamit am na njëriñ parce que Seydou woon nañu ne ci tundi passé élection bi mu ngi jaar yoon muy benn texa boo xam ne gis nañu ko fa jot na gisante ki nga xam ne moom mooy Mama Kandeh ca Jimara fi nga xam ne moom itamit dem na sànni ji karta Mama Kandeh moom mooy njiiti parti GDC te gannaaw bi mu sànnee kartaam nag seexe na waxtaan ak ñi nga xam ne ñooy taskati xibaar yi Mama wane na nag ne moom mooy gàddu li nga xam ne nag mooy ndam li waaye ñaax na nit ñi pour ñu génn ñu sànni ci carte bu ñu sànnee carte ñu delluwaat seeni kër toog si jàmm loolu daal kii nga xam ne mooy Mama Kandeh bu GDC fi nga xam ne ca Jimara fi mu sànnee carte loolu dëgëral na ko bu baax a baax ba muy waxtaan ak ñi nga xam ne ñooy taskati xibaar
jërëjëf kaddu bi rafet na kon ñu ngi jaajëfal Seydou si kaddu yu rafet boobu noonu okay I think next ngamira we have Modou Lamine Sane Tijan on the line.
Modou Lamine Sane. Modou Lamine.
Yes.
Hey, what a great pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Where exactly are you?
I casted my vote in Mandinaring Village, West Coast region, under the Kusumbala constituency.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So far, so good. Have you gone around some of the polling stations to see the voting exercise as we speak?
Okay, for Mandinaring Village, where I voted, I arrived at the polling stations. Of course, all the people of Mandinaring are voting at the primary school, at the Mandinaring primary school. At 7:30, I was there. Already the place was full with people who came out in numbers. Some of them straight from Fajr prayers. They came all the way to the station to start their vote. So that is the place I have the opportunity, and also passed through Kombo Kerewan. The numbers in turnout is very huge, both men and women. and also the young people became massively to cast their vote. So a similar incident occurred in, let's say, in Kerawan, same thing.
Okay, and you haven't come across any misunderstanding at the polling stations, perhaps between people or between the electorate and some of the officials of the IEC?
At the time I was at the polling station, and until now I did not record any incident wherein there's misunderstanding was put and put. Especially what I also captured during during the time that I spent there was 8 trying to make sure that the older people are afforded special access to the vote, and also those that are disabled. So that is very important and very okay. With the agreement of those that are on the ground, they accepted that these are people who really need support and to access.
Okay, the line is fading, but if you're still hearing me loud and clear, let's look at the security situation on the ground.
Come again?
Let's look at the security situation on the ground.
Yes, all the security operatives, that is the police, the immigration, those that are tasked to provide security at the station came on time. They all came on time, monitoring and also Kerawan to ensure that they take care of the situation, they secure the people voting, people, authorities on the IEC. Yes, things were divided into groups, take care of various polling stations within the primary school. So yes, they came on time and they are doing their job accordingly at the time of voting.
Well, before I allow you to recap in one of the local languages, you know, we are in the era of COVID-19, and like you said, the turnout is so impressive. A lot of people, are on the queue to cast their ballot. Are they observing the COVID-19 protocols?
I would say physical distance, no. Because people are sitting behind each other, they are queuing on a straight line going towards where they should do all necessary protocols. For face masks, some are wearing face masks. At the polling station where I am, honestly, these are some of the things that I saw. But the officials on the table, all of them, that is the polling staff and polling agents, they're wearing face masks and they have hand sanitizers with them to disinfect their hands and also allow some of the voters to disinfect their hands.
All right, brother man, keep safe and also observe the COVID-19 protocols.
Yes, I think we just need to thank him for those brilliant update, and we are happy to hear that everything is going smoothly at his end. Bitum badi ngolo kay ko wolo mo al election program odi al badi ma yulo monte Khadija to jwara mi be siringa le program kundo ning tijan jane mbe minchi be kan be min kacha kan dro ko min alialo nya Gambia bi kay ko mbe banku kuma bale to bi bayri niyaji be kabirin Gambia kono jang mbe kumaya din ko fi bake Gambia e bantala fanan hani mul miliyalon ko i manke banku dingonti i nyali be lorin kan i tulolu fanan be labo e kanna woto be ko bale kono bi ko mi yalon ko abeke ko min kamanzo sindi kamanzo falin woto wolu be mu kule de miliyalon ko ate sembo nyimba tolle bulu atol miliyalon ko atolle kata kata ka filu fay woto mbalni barala bake woto bakti tijan
forum toñaati kon nag mbokk yi ba tey rek ñu ngi ci programme bi nga xam ne ñu ngi leen di indil lii di xew-xewi sànni karta bi Modou Lamine moom ngeen déggoon noonu nekkoon ci boori Mandinari Kerawan foofu yi tamit sànni karta bi mu ngi jaar yoon lépp mu ngi jaar yoon amuñ benn teex kaaraange gi tamit lépp mu nga fa te nit ñi génn nañu surtout ñi nga xam ne tamit ñooy ndaw ñi ak jigéen ñi ci tunda boobu nga xam ne nag ci suufi West Coast region foofu la nekkee Kadijatu am naa dañoo dem pour break bu ñu teelu seewaat ñu dalalaat ay yeneen reporter yi nga xam ne ñoom it ñu ngi ci liggéey bu am solo Kadijatu.
God bless the Gambia. So they hopefula, Sarahule all of Walla Jola, for the Gambia, our homeland, Sunu de Kala, Nyakaboka, keep the environment clean and Lula Walla, throwing trash on the street, Lilu Yaula, he wanna go just better, Lilu Rolla, who can stand it, Sipata, Yola, what's the best better me, Regu Bimla, corruption to obviously public dishonor, politics, and you move I say no to Zimbabwe embassy memo visa. Do penance and the Kalali get forward la. Anyone take Yama? They keep Jamal and you conquer all at your son. Because the limal boro who are Benson. Every tired of the public smoking and the environment that you polluting. Do you have a food that makes you causing harmful side effects? Second hand smoking causes heart cancer that makes your liver. So this should take a serious measure because things like this we can't tolerate. Public transport, you know the cigarette. You must be insane. Let's walk us one to what the nation building. Build a better Gambia together. We celebrate. Confidence and the Kalali get forward la. God bless the Gambia. Full can let the Kabedi food. God bless the Gambia. Anyone take Yama. God bless the Gambia. Take it Yama and you conquer all of your son. God bless the Gambia. Boy and get boy, both music and sport. Some in office, some doing skill works. In it pregnant, how you baby, both silent, replying. Time in wonder for you, Dixie Poppy, quiet price. On fire, women between us, stop and the boss. Many school drop out, I wonder what is the cause. Yeah, come to Avian, Aboga, Hallis, and be boss. No penance, and they can go on the line. So you got me, full can let it go, baby, cool. Bless the Gambia.
It's Geo Life Music.
For the Gambia, our homeland, Nyanto to our homeland. Foka Cairo ni Nyato Tana Fena na homeland. Nibam kudi ubam kudi yana domandike for home. Kurum, Yuruasina na land. Tonya Mudin Balti Purunganda ke politikoto. Marimuki ba Balti Purungambaka tefa yola nata. Gambia kanubate Purunganda ke fitina kuto. Mima long, wale ma long, lombalia jamale batandi. Mado la politiko samanya mantaku. Badi ngol be badi ngol ngai bela ni malaku. Milbe busy din kamule gli malaku. kula tedaɓe pati beldo foyma laparan son tula baɗin kula gañomura sutura tekola pour Gambia la ñato tala ndamagole denta sula ɓe ño fula taransoni banjul hospitula koni mansa sasata tekate jara tubabu tulla Imagine UDP, NPP, solid flat diamond, smiling coast, tutunaning tribalism, the diamond, Gambia, political party can coexist. Diamond in the killing Dafonia, PDO, AS, Bade, Kobe, Mundo, Meta Patari, and Catalajan, Mutala Jam, Alma, Titanic, Putuna, Gambia, La Poe, Tina, no killing, Kate, killing, Salam, killing, Ole, Sina, but I guess Mole Mastima, Ole, Tina, political. Mobe Safwen Cartetina made the best man win. Minsanyato Sindima. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Paransor. Do Samata Talanato sign on Fanka Paransor.
One Gambia, one people, one nation. One Gambia, different culture, one nation. Manandol bekile, minyapo benale, manding kuni suwa. Afrayi bekile, minyapo benale, fulo ninjula. Joko politique ken joxatul ken cër wute gis-gis loo def masik man olof la kii pul te jola bi du sànnil soose tukulur jaamu séeréer la woon tey jam na ko mu dee bu la kenn di jaral di tere sa bakkan na suba ñu fàtte la gaaw jàmm fii la ñëpp di ñaan liggéey si ñun mooy suñu réew kon ne ñu yeewu yokku muus and choose the best for Mamaland ndax li lay wax ak li ñuy def mooy sol caaya teg si timbalaan dëkk bi belongs to us bu la dara jaral di sos nañ teg lépp ci as ku taamam jot rek di nga mos suñu réew la nañ ko sàmmal dox si jàmm bañ di tànn njiit ñi jeng dëkk si gas yi kàmba kenn du wax ku amul one people, one nation. One Gambia, different culture, one nation. Manandol bekile, minyapo benale, manding kuni suwa. Afrayi bekile, minyapo benale, fulo ninjula. Cause together we are stronger. Let's do it for the nation. Make a better time you prosper. Hey, yo, so can't you come on? We just to the flow. I say no to travel easy. Go tell it some.
Well, during the break, my cameraman said something. He said, as the race to the #1 Marina Parade intensified, and that was really catchy. And I respond, joining us now in the studio is no other than our presidential reporter, who is Mamadou Jallow. Mamadou Jallow is embedded with the NPP-led coalition of incumbent Adama Barrow. Did he cast his vote? And when? Welcome.
Thank you so much, Tijan and Khadija Juara. Yes, the incumbent, His Excellency Adam Barrow, did indeed cast his ballot this morning at one of the polling stations in Banjul Central, just near the State House at the Makati Square. You have two polling stations there. So the president, accompanied by his spouses, the First Lady, Her Excellency Fatoumata Barrow, and Lady Sadio Mbango Barrow, did cast their ballot at that particular polling station. Coincidentally, also, SFL also voted at the same police station.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
and that's the beauty of democracy. Yeah. Well, I'm sure as tradition demands, shortly after casting his vote, he talked to a pool of reporters who were waiting. What are some of the main issues that the president talked about?
Yes, Tijani, there was a heightened state of expectation amongst the media, both domestic and international. There are a lot of media houses represented in this election, and there was a lot of attention on the president himself. So the president walked through the State House, then into the quadrangle, then to Makati Square. You know, as he came, he was received by the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Ali Umar Jai. The two had, you know, some exchange, some few pleasantries and some serious talk, which we were not privy to, though. And then the president entered. You know, that's him walking through the gates of the State House, through the back door, and then, you know, having his hands sanitized, then walk through to the police station. You see, that's Ali Umar Jai, you know, receiving him. And then he passed through the same procedures as every voter. This election, every man, woman has one vote. So there's equality. So the president also went through the same formalities. He presented his voter's card. Then the polling agents there, or the IC officials there, went through the voter list to ascertain that his name was on the list, and they did. Then he was handed a token, and he entered, cast his ballot. Then, you know, his finger was dipped into the ink, indelible ink, and then he voted. Very, very smooth and quick process, because it didn't take time, and his two wives also followed the same procedure. Then he came out. You know, he was asked how confident was he about victory, and as always, the president has been very confident as far as this election was this campaign is concerned. He said he has run a very, very successful campaign. You know, he went throughout the country, you know, canvassed votes amongst the electorate, and he believes that he has the confidence of the Gambian people, and that's what matters. And in this election, he is confident that he's going to win, and he said specifically that by tomorrow, by 24 hours tomorrow this time, he will be celebrating on the streets. So very confident. So later we also asked, you know, whether I personally asked him about the process itself. He said he was confident that the process is going through, but he said the IEC, you know, must conduct a free, fair, and transparent process. And this was a task that he assigned the IEC, and he said he was confident that they will live up to the expectations of the Gambian people. A lot, according to him, the process itself depended on the IEC as the referee, as he always calls them, the referee. So he said he has the belief that they will live up to expectation and ensure that the process itself, you know, is free, fair, and transparent. Yeah.
That's really good. I think these are two major areas that the president really talked about. He's confident that he's going to win, but more emphasis was equally laid on the IEC.
Indeed.
What was his observation in terms of the voter turnout?
Yeah, he was equally impressed. He said he's been monitoring the situation across the country. As you know, the NPP, like any other political party, like the other five political parties or independent candidates, must have people across the country who are monitoring the process, you know, at the polling stations and at every level of the process itself. So he said he's been monitoring the process, and so far the turnout is very impressive. And this shows, according to the president, it shows that Gambians take this election very, very seriously, and that the Gambia has entered a phase of democratic maturity, wherein citizens know and value, you know, their vote and their decisions in making, you know, in choosing a leader who represents their interests. So the president, you know, did emphasize this point. He said he has absolute confidence in the Gambians, in the ability of Gambians to choose an individual who will serve their interests, and he said he represented that. He represented that choice. So therefore, he said the process so far as he's seen and as he's been receiving feedback from his people across the country, everything is going fine as far as he's concerned.
Another thing, what happens if the president loses the election? That was a question put to him?
Of course, that was a...
And what was his response?
Yeah, that was a question that was put to him, you know, whether, you know, what if he loses? this is an election. I think the president is under no illusion that this is an election.
It's an election, yeah.
Despite he's confident that he's going to win this election. Nonetheless, he considered that he is going to accept the verdict of the Gambian people. He made this categorically clear during that interview. And before that, even in several other interviews that he's spoken, he has pledged to respect the outcome of this process. There is no doubt that once Gambians decide, all the political leaders will accept the process. And the president has presented himself, clearly that he is going to respect the will, and verdict of the Gambian people. So in the situation where he loses the election, he is going to respect the verdict of the Gambian people.
And I hope we hear similar pledges from the other 5 presidential candidates, because this thing is very, very important. And in fact, in most views, this is the question that people are asking. What happens if things goes the other way?
Yeah.
And Barrow made it very clear.
Yeah, I think it is also important. We had him on tape that where he is making these statements. Yeah. So I think we'll talk to our technicians to see. We'll prevail to our technicians to see whether they can play us that tape.
Because
where the interview where we had him on tape.
Incumbent can make a pronouncement of that. I will call it magnitude, and I think the rest of the candidates should follow suit. Anyway, all what we are talking is about a peaceful election, free, fair, and transparent.
There are definitely impressive words from the president. Coming back ngolo aliyamu nyamindoro GRTS lem TV ning tijan jane long coming abe min kachakang angale kangoto doro wolo mo ngamomin soto studio kono jang Momodu Jallow molo mi yalon ko atela ning president be tani na kabirin na political campaign kono coming ngalo nyamindoro kabirin campaign start GRTS ya ala doku la be la talanta le be tema momo ndi mi yalon ko be president ya sira ngo nyini ka ibe ni la reporter no andu nyulu be binala le ibe kachala mo le kabirin telephone la fanala ani studio kono jang Momodu Jallow atela ning president Adama Barrow be muru kan andu bi fana ibe nyokan ne bi tijani ya ngin kamina angale kan to wono mo fo president ning ay carte file bi bang ani fana aya faida me ajabiro momenti Momodu Jallow abe ko la mo lele
Bako nyara ko His Excellency Adama Barrow ala nomo nyonko Excellency Fatumata Barrow and Lady Sadio Barrow i bota State House Katama kadung quadrangle yana jeman jampa bake makati square rakte katama bije so president nala muso naraje mi yabe no wolong IC chairman Ali Moman Jai kabi ko keta if lota diamuta malo diamuta mun bari amu meta demanding bari kabi wata bi president tata mo siata le minua ko be lorin ye anum press française so security ni press nyo boringo keta ye fake
press wala mo kibar talal
because mo jamal na ramiar ko ibota hani bandala bankol yebi jang so president dunta ministre saba fo lulu kije ala carte fay ala votas card tandi minal ko be dogola je wala jibe kabre mo bota je ata dunta afinti dan na anin kibar janyanal dia mutal mo ya nyinin ka ko lara ko abenin carte winale abenin election winale president ko abenin carte winale inshallah anu ni wato sawa watara la molbe celebrate kan parce que convenant bakele ko mun ta banko kan ani mol kachata ya mira ko gambien no lata la bake anu ibe mande ibe 5 year mande do dial so president is very confident kabine bote je fana mo ya nyini ka ko ni carte ni mo winda fo be sonna mole min
exactly
ko ha inshallah ni gambien mi desire drum ate ba respect la le ni mo le carte faye ba respect ni pana morman carte faye ba respect parce que ni mo démocratie le mo nyanta understand na mo lulu fo mo woro wala be ñoo sabaka ni para solo fo mo clean se win so ngamira ko mo yata pour mo sa understand ko ni mo winta mo nyanta sonale ni mo lusta fana mo nyanta sonale
baraka baake
important baake
Momodu Jallow wono mo kay ko president Adama Barrow la journalist o mi yalon ko GRTS ya kerekeraye coming nying to mal be kera journalist on la nyami ka di la puri ni be ta iya coming ay mi fana fa kumata baka yente kontan andum be jikiri ne fa be mo jamale kontan na miliano ko be bantala moyro la ami be jibero la bayri president mi yalon konta fo carte fayo kono soto lon soto balia win o long win balia woto na mari be jikiri nga kabe win nale okay fine bari fana yangi nin ka nin ayata do ma win ala kuma kan go beti yata baka bayri ako mingo min ala kijita mingo min na be sonna male masha Allah kuma no woti woto mba fana tintula back to you Tijan Jane
yamin fo wolom to nyaate hakilo bulandi 2016 lella ya jame wuta ko congratulate ko bar moment te gagné okay jame doro ne okay but anyway
program on certain thing
One Gambia, one people, one day. Son, one Gambia, different culture, one day. So, Monando Lekile, Minyapo Benele, Manding Kunisua. Afai Mekile, Minyapo Benele, Full Ninjula. Joko politique ken joxatul ken cër wute gis-gis loo def masik man olof laa kii pour te jola bi du sànnil soose tukulur jaamu séeréer la woon tey jam na ko mu dee bu la kenn di jaral di tere sa bakkan na suba ñu fàtte la gaaw jàmm fii la ñëpp di ñaan liggéey si ñun mooy suñu réew kon ne ñu yeewu yokku muus and choose the best for mamaland ndax li lay wax ak li ñuy def mooy sol caaya teg si timbalaan dëkk bi belongs to us bu la dara jaral di sos nañ teg lépp si asku time am jot rek di nga mos suñu réew la nañ ko sàmma dox si jàmm bañ di kànno ñi bu jeng dëkk si gas i kàmba kenn du wax ku amul one people one day so one Gambia different culture one day so Monandol Bekile Minyapo Benele Manding Kunisua Afai Mekile Minyapo Benele Full Ninjula Nakikilenti cause together we are stronger. Let's do it for the nation. Make a better time you prosper. Hey, yo, so come to your come. We just to the flow. Ask them not to travel easy. Go tell it time. Pula nenga falcana sale. Mortema. For the Gambia, our homeland. Let's try work hard and pray. Peace, love, and harmony. For the Gambia, virtue. One Gambia. One people, one song. One Gambia. Different culture, one song. Munatan Bekile. Minyapo Benele. Manding Kunisua. Afai Mekile. Minyapo Benele. Full Ninjula. One people, one nation. One Gambia.
Gambia decides 2021 presidential election. And now the gentleman to step in our studio is no other than Yoro Jal. Yoro is Grts reporter who was with the PDOIS, Honorable Halifa Sallah. Yoro, it's good to have you.
Well, thank you very much, Tijan and Kajati Juar. It's a pleasure joining you. I'm live in the studio.
Well, you've been the reporter day one of the presidential campaign with the PDOIS, and today is the D-Day. Now, bring us to speed. Where did Halifa Sallah cast his vote?
Indeed, Tijan, thank you very much for that question. The Right Honorable Halifa Sallah cast his vote at the Serekunda Gaddafi Mosque this morning at around 11:30 a.m. As usual, he was supposed to be accompanied by the wife, but according to him, something happened when they were preparing to leave to move to cast their vote. But he said, notwithstanding, during the day, maybe in the afternoon, the wife will go and cast her ballot as well.
All right. I think this one is pretty clear. After casting his vote, he must have spoken to waiting journalists.
That's right.
What are some of the highlights?
Well, what he told the waiting journalists was that he has done what was expected of him. That is crisscrossing the length and breadth of the country, canvassing for votes. Now it's the Gambian people themselves who will decide who to entrust the affairs of the state, or I mean, who will steer the affairs of their country in the next 5 years coming. But speaking as usual, with his firebrand tone, the Right Honorable Halifa Sallah made mention of one thing: this election is crucial for the democratization process of the country. He also repeated that it is important that all Gambians know that this election shouldn't be taken lightly, because it's an election that will profile the country as a real democratic state. Whether we've progressed in our democratic, to accelerate the democratization process, whether we've reached the level we want to get to. Otherwise, if we want to stay stagnant, according to him, and then the real in the profiling of the country in that democratic status. He reminded Gambians in his statement, or when he was talking to the press, that it is about time we take. There cannot be anything meaningful. There is no government that can prosper or make headway without the citizens being involved in running the affairs of the state. And I think, Tijan, that is very important.
The outcome of the election, what was his take?
He's a Democrat. When he was asked that question, he even laughed. He said he's a Democrat. He believes in the rule of democracy. In elections, is either there is a winner or a loser. But he predicts that at the end of the day, he will be the winner, or he will win the elections. And of course, you can see the spirit of democracy in him, and even in his tone, that if you think you cannot lose in an elections, don't contest.
Don't contest.
So that shows the spirit that the Right Honorable Halifa Sallah that is in the lack of sleep that he said this is elections. He's a Democrat. He has been taking part in a lot of elections. So losing doesn't mean much to him, but of course he's anticipating to win the elections.
Yoro Jallo, in any crowded, and if yes, are they given privilege to cast their vote without following the queue?
Absolutely. The polling.
Okay.
And I think that is a plus for the Gambian. In fact, what I saw come presently, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Others will come and tell them, no, you cannot. But at the end of the day, you can see others being squeezed, and it becomes just a laughing matter they just pass. But then to come back to your question, the disabled, the elderly, and the pregnant women were all given priority and I still believe that is still happening because the voting is still continuing.
Can you just recap that in Manding?
Very well. Honorable Halifa Sallah, news Somandala, Talang Taning Killing, Watula Atata, Gaddafi mos jamming auto, registrata woto ala carte fay woto. Bare bitung adalta ka kenyamen drong ni itul kata nying keba mal ni kata aning ana nyomo man fintino nyola kata carte fay. Bare akaba itandila molako nyato to maden drong o helende mo mealon ko fusula je ala muso fana bitale ala carte fay. Bare ni Honorable Halifa Sallah la PDOIS la candidato ni ala posto je ala abe akamanyu nyame carte fayo mu ka win lo kono kilinketa hani ka fo ka boy kana kata wo process to ni man hani ka win fanan momo be lo ta carte fay ko to drom isi yilla wala ako abaytan la Gambia dingol be ko nyin Gambia mo be bankoti e banko dingol bi ateya meññannama no ay wokkele a fintita Gambia katon fo koyna ka carte ñini mol bulu ka foye ko atebe men keno la moliye natra ko e carte fa gagneta bito kamala akate men fo moliye ngamira banko dingol ya moyle sa tuta Gambia dingol fo le bulu sain men ya lonko etole kam mo gagnendi etole ka president tombo bito nabe o nyama dron aka kumatal ko banko dingol fana Gambia la démocratie kas abile ka sembentu ya ta nyato alungol be bile kono bile mba pesela podum na demokrasi nga men soto apita ako mira atela mira loko gamirol bebe sondi nyinale ko na demokrasi latala ta nyato para kuma kilin fanam fo ako alata nyinale ko ate Honorable Halifa Sallah abe ganyelale biring nga nyinin ka wala wo fanne fo aka lata ay nyin la do sotole ko abe ganyelale ka e ka barama ka nyifiden sotole ko abe winnale tija
now this is what the French will say
ala hoj way tay di len amne dañ don sane sen karta Honorable Halifa Sallah nak mom fele la sane jiwon Serekunda Grafi Mosque tay fofu bu sane be peri nak ñun bi nak taska kibar yu laaj ko ne naka la gisi process bi wana ne lum gis sofa do delal na helam bi in to an extent ne li mula wonne démocratie bu Gambia don yelo legi am nañ ko mune mom gom na ne elections mom amna spirit of winning and losing te mom amna gom na ne amna yakar bi dina gagner te mu ngi ñaax Gambia ni la dëkk bi ñoko mom ñoo mëna jàppoo liggéey dëkk bi dem si kanam te loolu foog na pour gàttal rek yëpp loolu la fa wax te mooy loolu rek Tidiane waaye kontaan na Tidiane ak Kadijatou Juwara process at Serekunda
Yoro Jallow Yoro nag mooy ki nga xam ne moo àndoon ak PDOIS Honorable Halifa Sallah depuis bu campagne bi doore ba tey si suba si nga xam ne moom Halifa Sallah demoon na sànni ji ak karta fi nga xam ne mooy ca Gaddafi Mosque nekk ca Serekunda te foofu mooy Serekunda West si Khadijatou dafa mel ni rek waxtu bi mu ñoo gën a xoj ndax mi ngi am kii nga xam ne mooy Babou Cham nag moom itamit dinañu ko indi fii mu ñëw wax ñu tey Ousseynou Dabo bu UDP bu mu xëyee suba fan la dem sànni karta lan la waxante ak ñi nga xam ne ñooy taskati xibaar yi bu Babou Cham yegsee fii Gambia decides 2021 presidential election fii ci GRTS rek ket donc
waaw Tidiane noo ko waxee rek ñuy jaajëfal Yoro Jallow si kaddu yu rafet yooyu noonu man de kontaan naa trop comme suñ maire yi sax ñu nekk di wax si biti ñu ne election jarut ñiiro ñaaro I don't know the exact meaning badi ngolon kaye ko wala mo ila doku lali be bantol to fannal be to pour ka election o ñing mi alon ka mu carte fayoti abe samba kay ñaadi rabi ta kay ñaadi le nim break ta nim muronta nan
Diamante, ni di mer bañ a jàppalante wax suñu réew mi di dem waxi politique ñu bàyyi ko ginnaaw nguur yi di neen tem ñun rek ñoo fi bees ñi di gas ñi di suul ñi di push ñi di pull wax ma ñun kañ la ñu jël everybody need more loving and caring one everyone let me hear you something see that can never get one more one bucket when we come together everybody you go love it wow better man reject it you want and can go nowhere we need more loving we need more love.
Well, we have now reached the climax of the race to #1 Marina Parade to welcome Mr. Babu Chan, who's been with the UDP campaign trail since day one until today. Babu, it's a pleasure to have you on our show. And you've been with Honorable Lawyer Usainu Dabo, the leader of the United Democratic Party. Where did he cast his vote?
Thank you very much.
And whether he has even voted?
He has voted. He has indeed voted at Sabina polling station along Fajara. That is at Fajara along the Karaba Avenue. He voted after around 11:30, some minutes after 11. He voted, and it was a crowded place because you have a lot of journalists there. And to interview him was a problem. It was very difficult to interview him because the journalists, we were not given a chance to one another. And despite telling us to arrange ourselves, but at the end of the day, he managed to Sabina.
Now, walk us through the highlights of his interview shortly after casting his vote.
Yeah, shortly after casting his vote, A.N.M. Usainu Dabo thank God for giving him life and health to witness this day and to conduct his campaign successfully and to cast his votes at the police station right at Sabina. He also thanked the government for providing him with that security, that two-man security, to conduct his campaign peacefully and around the country. So he also implored on people to exercise decorum, that is the peace and stability of this country. So he said that if any person or anybody who votes, let him go and stay at home with. But he's very much confident. There is that total confidence in him, since the one of the courtesy call around the combos through these towns and villages for courtesy call on these elders in the communities before embarking on campaign proper on the country. The leader and the flag bearer of the United Democratic Party is very confident. And not only him, but the entire campaign team and even the supporters right on the spot. They are very confident that this time around they will come with a landslide victory.
A landslide victory. What happens if things goes the other way? If he loses the election? Did he talked about that? Whether he's going to accept the
verdict of the IEC.
Of the Gambian people?
Yes. He said, let people exercise decorum and be law-abiding and wait for the results. And if anyone is declared a winner, let them celebrate in peace.
I think that's pretty good.
Babu, giving us life.
Extremely well.
Them doing great. And again, we are very happy monitoring the situation. Currently, everything is going smooth and normal, which is very encouraging. Babu, coming after Yamindorong, in Tijanbe Angale, Kawami Fokang, Balni Barabina La Surwal. Okay, Babu, but then the thing is, Iron Babu, the one of is not the best, but we will definitely try. But first, the Mandinka Ngataji, Babu, if I'm a multi yalon ko imu GRTS doku lalati covering election on yung kumasta GRTS yela doku lali janjandile covering President Barrow UDP ani mo kote wolu milyalon ko ibebe president ya sira on nyinika iyo itaning Jamal lebe tak
ni UDP lo.
Okay.
Pro kata campaign la bara.
Okay.
Boda bara ndata fas njaga choy. Boda fas njaga choy ndata aljamudu ngalla nyomi lame. Bu ñaare bakede je nyomi lame. Be tentila be jayila boto woto.
Okay.
Murun to wol nyama nga sate rimo ni sate be bali be ma.
Okay.
Fo futata kombo jang. Benindiri baketa kaboba sori kana fo pipeline.
Okay.
Bodo woto murun na molia. Boto fu kun on Thursday rally baketa bakote.
Okay.
Rally baketa
Babu, okay, UDP la leader Usaino Dabo. I carte file. Na ya fai fana fai bindole.
Bi talantang ning killing tambita minute tan saba wala fella to kan. I can imara kalora I carte fai wolto. Anala pati alfadul nataje wala ba noma inata ya dandan ay bawo journalist ul siata je bankula journalist ani miliano ke bonta e bota bantala siata bakele pruka interview fon soto no anyama akita kole apoti but wobe nyaonya ay patenta a lota fo ay diamuda journalist ul so ay ine tandi ko aba ala tentula ala mi ya lonko so ni si jamola ani jata kenya puka bidum ni witness so ay carte fay aku okata kontano di anata man zakunda fanan tentu komi ya tankar bunda mi so e para sojero min diala puruka bulano maka jeko tanku ni ay sabati ala campaign ni kono amanna hello sotaje ay fanan tentu bara ni kumandiro ke molla puru molisa kluro ni famajo samba isa ko election result e kana atondi ni victory ke celebration no celebrate kluro ni famaji ko batori season ko no e kana fenge mi yalo ko bankola Cairo nala tempo ni mamman
baraka bake wala mo Babu Chamti GRTS mi yalo ko atelening UDP ko lu betakan bari Babu Tijan mu ne fok ñu wax wol lo ci sosé waaw
kon nag boo koy léegi dañuy bàyyi rek ki nga xam ne mooy Babou Thiam mu wàccoo ak ñun dégg nañ ko moom moo àndoon ak Ousseynou Dabo tey Ousseynou Dabo demoon na fi nga xam ne mooy ca Sabina Fajara ci boori woo cemetery bi moom foofu la sànnee karta bu mu demee ñi génn dem sànni seeni karta ñun ñëpp mun nañoo ànd ñu dem ak kooku Babou dañ laa wax jërëjëf di leen jaajëfal bu baax ci mooy Ousmane Mané bi ànd ak National Unity Party moom itam mu ngi xaarandi ñu dalal ko fii dañoo dem ak break bu ñu dellu see Gambia Decide 2021 presidential election fii ci GRTS.
Gentlemen of the press. Really?
Presidential election, giving you an update of the voter process. You have seen all the reporters that passed through and the ones we have on the line. Presently, Ousmane Mané is the reporter with the National Unity Party of Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh. Ousmane Mané, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Jan. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Hello, Usman.
Yes, hello.
We are trying to see if we can get Usman.
I'm getting him. Hello.
And once we establish the telephone lines, also give us an update because he's the reporter who is embedded with the National Unity Party. Usman Mane, welcome to the show. Well, still now it seems because my
I'm getting him. Hello.
taking his hands up and down, which means I should continue talking. All right. Once the technicians
Mer ne di gagnante, ni di xeex ne di jamante, ni di mer bañ a jàppalante. Wax ma kañ la suñu réew mi di dem. Waxi politique ñu bàyyi ko ginnaaw, nguur yi di neen dem ñun rek ñoo fi des. Ñi di gas ñi di suul, ñi di push ñi di pull. Wax ma ñun kañ.
we are trying to see if we can connect Usman Mane, a reporter with the NUP. Usman, if you are on the line getting me loud and clear. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Good. Usman.
Yes.
Perfect. I'm now getting you loud and clear. You are the reporter with Abdullahi Ibrahim Jame of the NUP. Now tell us where you are and whether the presidential candidate Jame has casted his vote.
Yes, personally, for me right now, I'm in my home village, Bunyadu, to cast my vote. Earlier in the morning by 9:30, NUP presidential candidate Abdullah Ibrahim Jame casted his vote at his hometown of Rikama Nema, accompanied by his close family, including his wife.
All right. What happened shortly after casting his ballot?
Yeah, he spoke to waiting journalists to express his experience since this is his maiden appearance in the political landscape of the country under a new party, National Unity Party, where he shared his experience and also, showed optimistic that he hopeful that Gambians will massively vote for the National Unity Party and will be declared winner.
Well, as a first timer, what is his take as to the final result?
Yes, he did, prevail over the waiting journalists that the verdict of the people, that is the Gambian people, must be respected. And he has no reason to doubt the final verdict that the returning officer of the 2021 presidential election will be, who is Alhaji Mohamed Gai. He is going to accept the result in good faith whenever the decision or the result is not in his favor. That is, if he is not voted in office, he will know that so be it, that's the decision of the Gambian.
All right, Usman, I'm afraid that's where we have to draw the curtain on this particular interview with you because we have under 2 minutes to sign off. Khadija.
Yes, just to thank all of them for their work, for their tirelessly been working throughout the campaign, and of course their updates, the informations are all amazing. Badingolo coming at Tijanya Falenya 2021 presidential election program Lamal Badi Manadom Tekadija Juara, of course named Tijan Jani, the reporter Solo Miliadon Kumbi, Imoikang, Gambia Panal Bela coming GRTS in Mul Miliadon ko be deploy Puruka election on your money to Balbini Barabake. Suma Jadama, of course, local back of course, Jan K, Ture, cameraman, Jane, Dabo, the technicians, IT, Baby into the back. I mean, I'm like you.
Can talk to Kirgi. Jama ak Jama until we come your way next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
GRTS Election Night Special, The Gambia Votes, 2021 presidential elections. From voting to counting, get all the details on one place. Over 900,000 Gambian electorate prepare to cast their ballots in a crucial poll involving 6 candidates as the incumbent Adama Barrow seeks a second term, facing UDP's Usainu Dabo, GDC's Mama Kande, PDOI's Halifa Babakar Sala, NUP's Abdullah Ibrahim Jame, and independent candidate Esam Baifal. Follow the day's polling activities on GRTS TV and radio, as well as vote counting and all breaking issues on Election Night Special, live on GRTS, bringing you exclusive coverage of the polls with expert analysis, breaking news and results in quick time from the IEC.